everyone. It's Charlotte here from One Woman. I'm here with the amazing Kristina Kastelanac. Is that how you say your last name, Kristina?
That is, yes.
And we started a new program called Build Your Business with One Woman. And what I've learned from sharing and chatting with women from right around the world at Fearless events is that women want to reach other women with the gifts that they have, the skills that they have, what they're offering in the world, whether that's their business or what they're doing on the side or whatever the case might be. And so that's one of our big goals, is really to be able to connect women, to be able to share, to be able to help each other, whether that's personally, whether that's professionally, whatever the case is. And so we launched this only a few short weeks ago, and Kristina jumped on it because she's an amazing lady who lives just outside of London, right, Kristina? Or in London?
Well, we're actually transitioning from London to Port Stanley in the next little while, yeah.
Still a beautiful part of Ontario, that's for sure. We did a London event this year. I know you couldn't be at it, but I look forward to hopefully seeing you as a speaker or something at next year's event, because you have so many great things to share and how you're helping women. So you are a naturopath. So let's start with that. You know, how did you choose and get into naturopathic medicine?
It started when I was really young, actually. I had lots of health issues when I was little. From the age of 8 to 15 or so, I had repeated sinus infections and stomach troubles, and no one really knew what was going on. They just kept sort of palliating my symptoms. It's what I hear a lot in practice now. And I really wanted someone to take a look at what was happening in my body. And I wanted to discover why this was happening for myself. Even as a kid, I knew that there must be more to this. There must be more to why my body is struggling the way that it was. And so even by the age of 11 or 12, I started reading books on healing modalities, and I read about osteopathy, and I learned about naturopathic philosophies. And so when I started to read about osteopathy and naturopathic philosophies on how the body has this innate ability to heal, when I started to read that and learn that, the spark kind of lit off in me. And I really wanted to figure out how to help my body to heal. And so then I geared the rest of my education toward becoming a naturopathic doctor. And long road. In 2009, I became a naturopath and started practicing. But in practice, I used a lot of my tools and modalities: acupuncture, herbs, homeopathic supplements, diet and lifestyle stuff. And it's wonderful, and it supports people on their journey. But I wanted to give women tools that they could use in themselves, with themselves, on their own, so that they could actually support their own body's healing without having to. We all need support. We definitely need to go out and get support when we need it. But to be able to do that yourself, to be able to sit down in the comfort of your own home and to just notice what's happening inside of you when you've been triggered with stress. That's my passion, and it's something that I've grown to learn and how to do, and to teach people how to do.
Right. And I think most people growing up, you grew up with traditional medicine. From the time you're born, you know, most of us were born by a doctor, some by a midwife, but a lot of, especially, you know, our older generation, you were born by a doctor. You went and got your shots from a kid to, you know, you go for your checkups, for all that kind of stuff. And that's just what you're learned, is just these, what we think of as traditional ways in terms of going to a doctor, and that most things are cured by a prescription. You know, I think that's a way that most people think of that if there's something wrong with them, that they need to take, you know, a prescription medicine, but that there is a lot of different options that's out there beyond that. And sometimes a prescription does not work. And I know people who have went for years who've suffered before, hopefully then finding somebody who can walk them through it and go on a journey of self-discovery and go on a journey of your own body that's unique only to you, right?
Yes. And there's this knowing inside of each and every one of us. There's this knowing that we have this ability within us. We just don't know how to tap into it. And maybe we have once or twice in our past. Maybe we've gone to a really great yoga class, or we had this amazing session with someone, and we really got to feel the power that our body has to heal itself. But we don't know how to access it regularly. We don't know how to tune into it and cultivate it. And so we want to cultivate that in our nervous system so you can access it whenever you wish. And so that's a part of, so we start to, I kind of knew that even when I was young. I knew I had this motivation within me that there's got to be more than this. This can't be the limit to my body and to the power that I have over, trying to heal. And so I kept pushing. That was kind of the kind of kid that I was. And it was because I was struggling, but it was also because I had this curiosity.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that you discovered that from such a young age. And I think sometimes that seed is planted in us early on, just, not only for helping ourselves, but what we can build and develop in ourselves to be able to help and empower others, which is something that you're very passionate about for sure. And we're going to talk about that more, but you'd mentioned the nervous system. So tell me a little bit about how you learned about the nervous system and our stress response, because that's a big part of it as well.
Yes. So we all have a nervous system. We all have this system that responds every moment by moment, to situations that we encounter. And we talk a lot about the stress response now, but what we want to do is to learn when we are triggered, learn when we have a fight, flight, or freeze sort of reaction within ourselves. And when we can learn how to pinpoint those reactions, we can do something about it. We can actually allow ourselves to learn how to come back down from stress in the moment, not just through getting a nice walk in or doing yoga. Those are all very helpful tools, but it's beautiful to know and to learn how to bring ourselves down in the moment and to unwind what your nervous system has been holding on to so that you don't have as many triggers coming up. That's the beauty of working with the nervous system. So we have this, I learned through something called somatic experiencing. I took this 3-year on and off course that health professionals can take. And that's where you learn about this certain method of tracking the body. And I've sort of created my own and cultivated in my own way into how to break this down for people so that they can integrate it into their own lives. But that's where my nervous system work started, is through learning about somatic experiencing and then trying it out on myself and on my own patients, and really learning about my own nervous system and how I'm constantly triggered and why that trigger is happening. Oftentimes, we have a history in our bodies. It's stored there in our nervous system through past experiences, through childhood, and through overwhelming situations that have occurred in the past. And since in that moment, in that past, we couldn't deal with it properly, so if we were a child or if it was too overwhelming, it gets locked into our neural patterns. And we want to be able to notice that, be able to unwind that, so we're not held back by those patterns that are stored in our biology, in our nervous systems. If we can learn how to do that, then we can actually step forward in the way that we were meant to step forward without being held back by those past experiences. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense, because it's exactly what the fearless events are based on in a lot of ways, is that what are the things that hold you back from having the life that you dream of? And so that could be in relationships, that could be physically, your own physical health, that could be in starting a business or reaching your goals and dreams, or whatever the case is. And so what is it that's holding you back from it? And, lots of times people don't have a logical answer for that, but knowing that a lot of these things, patterns, behaviors, and are stored in you, and lots of times there's disguised as practicality, to, hey, we need to keep you safe because there was this time where, but knowing that it is safe now and you can let those go. I'm sure you have many examples of people you worked with that, were stuck in an area of their life, and going through the process, be able to find that freedom to live how you want to have the life you would like to have. And
Well, a big piece of this is that it's mostly all unconscious. And
Yes.
especially if these things happened really early on in our childhood, from 0 to 3 or 4, we actually don't have much memory of it, actual memory. It's actually body memory that we have. And so through learning these techniques, you can actually tune into the body memory. And you might get an image that arrives or a memory that arrives, but it's going to be a bodily memory. And if you work on those, then you're actually working on the foundation that your nervous system was built on. And as you work on that foundation, it actually trickles out to physical, mental, emotional, spiritual health, all aspects of your life.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff. There's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me what inspired you to want to create Bodywise Insights and what that all encompasses for you.
Yeah. So the intention behind it was to share with more people the things that I've learned, the wisdom that I've gained, and to allow others to become empowered. I saw in practice this repeated pattern that people had good diets, they were on the supplements they needed to be on, they were coming to me regularly, they were feeling supported, they had good support networks in their lives, but still they were physically struggling, mentally, emotionally struggling. And so when I started to give them the tools to actually work within themselves, it really it allowed them to move in different ways in their lives, shift what they really wanted to shift and never felt like they could before. They started to improve in physically, mentally, emotionally in ways that they didn't actually anticipate that they would. And then also symptoms that they wanted to improve on got better. So I started to see that in my practice, and I thought, I want to bring this to more people. And it felt like the right move to just build an online program so that people can enroll and learn at their own pace. So when they get into the online program, you have videos and audios to listen to, and you work at your own pace. And when you have questions, you come into the group calls, and we get to work on those things that keep coming up for you. It's really been wonderful to run the program as well, to just see the transformation that happens, and also what happens when you get in on the group calls together, where women are supporting women, and you start to see that transformation happen in a group setting is also really, which I thought about, but I didn't anticipate it being so powerful and strong. Yeah. So that's been a beautiful side effect of this work, and bringing it to a group of women, not just one-on-one, which I've been doing for 10 years now.
Yeah. Right. And I think that is so powerful, because I see that with Fearless Events, and when you bring women together to support each other, to care about each other, knowing that you're not alone in this journey.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of women feel alone in the situations and things that they're going to, but knowing that women have these shared experiences, that you're doing it together, and that you can celebrate each other's successes. Imagine for you, because really you could have learned this and just used it for yourself. B, you could have used it just to open your practice and help, hundreds of women in the London area. But you decided to expand this and really to be able to help hundreds of thousands of women around the world to really get, wherever they want to be, to create the life that they dream of. And so I just want to, say congrats on doing that, and to, thank you for sharing your gifts with the world, because it's important for every woman to do that, and knowing that they can do that. So I'm excited for you. And just tell me what that feels like, and what that's like for you to watch women transform, to get from that place, from where they are, to, opening doors to where they want to be.
It's amazing, because I've seen it within myself, and I felt how powerful it was and how inspiring it was to keep growing and shifting and evolving, and then to see it in others, to feel like they're not stuck anymore in the same work atmosphere that they have been forever and ever. To be brave enough to move forward because their nervous system isn't holding them back anymore. It feels really, really good to know that women are starting to gain that power within themselves, and to also just witness those shifts happening, especially in the moment. I love watching the shifts happen in the moment where there's that realization of truth for them, and to feel and know their own truth and how it was derailed at some point, and then how it can be brought back. I spend a lot of time actually speaking to people one-on-one about how you can do it, how we can do it. We just need to learn these little steps, and they're not huge, but just learning how to make these small alterations, and to know that when stuff happens, when triggers occur, I call them waves. The waves come, and as you allow them and sit with them, then the waves pass. And that's a lot of what I sit with women, to know that they can handle the wave that arrives, to empower them to know that we can be with that wave, to notice the body as long as it's tolerable, and then that wave passes and we notice how the body responds next. Mm-hmm. And when you start to really see women grab that and know and become confident that they can handle their waves, that blows my mind every single time, and that makes me feel so enlivened by it. And I want to be able to share that with more and more women, that you can handle your waves. Mm-hmm. We just need a little bit more support in doing that.
Yeah, I love it. So you have some great programs coming up soon. Let's talk about these programs and how they're different, and you know, how people are dealing with stress nowadays. So, you know, sure. How will these help people? And what I know we talked a lot about that already, but you know, what they kind of look like for people to be a part of.
Yeah. So we have the online program, which I launch typically twice a year. And so this launch is happening in the fall now. And we are opening enrollment on September 20th. And so after you enroll, you are part of this group of women, and it's 8 weeks long. And I lead you through week by week. You get these videos and audios. And week by week, it's kind of like a stepwise process of learning how to listen to your own body. And it's actually your body kind of guides you through this process because you're listening to it. And we learn about things like encouraging your body's own rest and digest response. And as we learn all of the things that your body likes to come into regulation. So some women love animals and pets, right? And it will really help them shift and down regulate. Some people love nature, but whatever it is, you're kind of building this repertoire for yourself. And then you're learning how to build that internally. And you start to build those resources inside so that you can tune into them in stressful times, in times where you're triggered. And so we kind of take the stepwise process of growing the good stuff in your body and allowing yourself to handle the not so good stuff that we all encounter in life, and to shed the stuff that we've been holding on to. So we kind of like learn step by step, week by week together in this layered sort of system, how to listen to your body. And by the end, you have these tools that you can practice how to sit with your body, notice what's happening, and unravel the fight, flight, and freeze patterns that get built in. So that's the online program, and it's there for you after you access it. It's there for you as long as it exists. As long as it's running, you can go back to the material, back to the audios and videos. You can attend the group calls as often, as much as you'd like. And then on top of that, we have the mentorship program. So with the mentorship program, you are part of the online program right off the bat. But through the mentorship program, you're guided by me one-on-one. And it's really geared toward women that want to shift their career and some goal specific. It's a very goal specific mentorship program. So you have to have these things that you want to head towards. And it's a 6-month sort of journey with me. Every other week we meet for an hour via via Zoom, and we can just deal with the nervous system patterns that are there for you and how it's limiting your growth with whatever goals you've been setting for yourself. And step by step, we're working through your nervous system, gaining the tools from the online program, as well as catering it to your nervous system. And then really unwinding why the goals aren't happening for you. So talking a lot about mindset and the limiting beliefs that stop you from achieving what you really want to achieve.
Yeah, and I think it's great that you offer both, because, you know, sometimes people love more of the group, they're a little more self-learners, they can watch the videos and whatever, and sometimes people want some more guidance or have specific things that they really want to work on, and so it's great that you're able to offer both programs to kind of meet different people's needs. Or maybe you take one program, the group program, and then you really discover that there's one thing that you really want to work on, and so then you can, you know, it's like, you know, you start taking that steps on the staircase, and they start to reveal themselves as to what direction you want to go and all that kind of stuff, right? Yeah.
Definitely. And also there is that my email list, the newsletters that I let out, and videos and audios that I actually offer. So even if you just sign up to the Bodywise Insights email list, you'll get videos and audios talking about all of this and supporting you and learning little pieces of it as you discover what's right for you, as you learn about your own body.
Absolutely. So I know we talked a lot about this in terms of who this is helpful for, which really is everyone, you know, like there's, I don't think that everybody has things, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, that they're wanting to change. But tell me a little bit about who comes to see you? What kind of things are people looking to make differences and changes? Physical health, one for sure.
Yeah, so you cut out a little bit while you were asking that question, but just so you were just asking who is this really for?
Yes.
Yeah. So women that are struggling, and that struggle, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, it's reaching to this point where they're uncomfortable with it. They don't want it anymore, and they want things to change. These are women that are ready to even take one small step forward. It's not my program is all about not making it overwhelming for women, right? Because we see it as daunting when we look at our health and all the things we want to improve within ourselves. It might look daunting, but we want to take it one step at a time. And so it's for those women that are ready to take that first step into listening to their bodies and getting their mind on track so that it can support them. Oftentimes our mind comes in and sabotages us. It sabotages our bodies and our emotional states, our lives, really. So we also, a lot of the times I see women enrolling that have a lot of mental, emotional struggles because their minds keep sabotaging what they really want in the world.
Absolutely.
Yes. So whether it's anxiety or depression or even just anger, a lot of PMS and women with like only cyclical, you know, it only happens before your period kind of thing, or menopausal struggles and then the anxiety that comes along with that. I see a lot of women like that because it just comes in spurts, but it's never the same. And it's constant. Like it'll always happen every month. We want to learn the tools so that when those things happen, it's not as challenging, not as intense perhaps, or not as often or frequent. That's often what can happen when you learn these tools. It's not that it all goes away. Our journey is constant and it constantly evolves, but it's nicer, it's lovelier when it's not as intense, it's not as frequent, and when you can handle the things that arrive. And then you feel powerful, then you feel empowered, that you can handle more and more. So it's for women that are ready to take that journey to gain a bit more empowerment within their own bodies, within their own selves, and to learn how to work with their emotions, their minds, and their bodies.
Yes, and that leads me to my next question in terms of how do people feel after the program, and how are things different, and what happens after the program that you find? Maybe some success stories that, you know, you've seen women experience.
Yeah, so I'm seeing women after the program, they're saying that they actually know what to do when they're feeling overwhelmed, when they're feeling angry or frustrated, or they're feeling even pain or tension in their bodies, right? So here's a situation that occurs and I feel tension in my throat or shoulders. What do I do about that? Now I have a tool. I can sit down and I can actually track this within my own body. They feel empowered because they don't feel like they have to go and run to their support systems every single time, or they're not left just wondering, I don't know, and feeling hopeless about it, right? They can actually feel like they can do something about it. So that's more of what I'm seeing is people feel empowered. They feel like they have something in their back pocket they can turn to. And I'm also seeing women that suddenly see physical symptoms getting better because of their work. It's not, we can't guarantee anything. You can't guarantee that this will get better, that'll get better. But as your nervous system heals, your body will heal what it needs to heal in the pattern that it needs to heal it. That's what people need to know, that there's this layered effect in the body that occurs. And so as you unwind it, things start to unravel, and things that I've had women come back and say, well, this wart is gone. I've had it for 20 years and now it's suddenly gone and I have no idea why. I didn't do anything.
Wow.
Or a thyroid condition that's suddenly repaired. She doesn't need to take her medication anymore. There's these women that have experienced these things and we don't know. You can't guarantee it. You can't pinpoint exactly why, but it was their bodies that did the healing work. And so if it feels like you're inspired, right? If it feels like it's speaking to you, your body is speaking to you, it's trying to tell you something, then this is the way that you can listen. And then usually these things start to clear up. These patterns start to unravel. And then you get to deal with them step by step by step.
Love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so we talked about fight or flight and the rest digest response. Do you have a little exercise that you can kind of teach or show us that helps us to kind of identify when those things are going on?
Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to start by just, even you yourself right now and everyone listening, we can just begin by noticing our bodies in our chair. So you're going to just bring your awareness to the contact, and you can just take your own time to get comfortable right now. You can close your eyes if you'd like. And what we're going to start to cultivate in this moment is just beginning to recognize our rest and digest response. This is called the parasympathetic state. And so if we can begin to sense into our thighs, our hips, our legs, as it makes contact with your chair. Notice the sensation of this contact. Noticing if it's soft or hard. And seeing how your body takes that in. As you sense into the contact points, see if you can even describe for yourself in your own mind or out loud if you're by yourself. See if you can describe for yourself what it feels like in that part of your body as you sense into the support from your chair. Noticing what your body does next. Maybe notice the texture or substance that sensation is made of, that place of contact. What texture or substance does it have? As you tune into this, notice your body's response. It might be subtle, but this is your nervous system slowing down into a parasympathetic state. If there's any sense of warmth or expansion or looseness in your body, as you bring your awareness to it, any warmth or expansiveness or looseness, just noticing what this is like for you. Sometimes when we get into a parasympathetic state, we get triggered. We might not want to be here, but sometimes we do. Just notice how much you can be in this place right now. And now we're going to test your nervous system out a little bit. And so even as I just said that, notice what happens in your body. So if you were to think about something over the last few days that annoyed you or frustrated you, and notice what happens in your body, any sensations. Noticing where the sensation is as you think about that thing that annoyed and frustrated you. Noticing its shape and size. And seeing if you can still notice that contact you're making with the chair. As if we're just moving our attention back to the chair and noticing what it's like again to feel that contact or to feel that expansive, warm, loose sensation wherever it was. And just see what your body does next. It might ramp up back into that annoying, frustrating thing might come back up in your head again, or you might be really settled into your chair again. But no matter what's happening, this is your nervous system's response to a stressor, to a trigger. It's not good, it's not bad. It's just how your body is responding in this moment. And when you're ready, just slowly coming back into the room, allowing yourself to feel yourself in the chair again, and taking your time to open your eyes.
That was amazing.
What did you sense for yourself?
That I go right into my head. Like,
Yes.
So, you know, I totally could tune into my body and the chair and how things are feeling and relax and all that kind of stuff. But as soon as you bring up something that's stressful, so for me, I was driving to Calgary, and I took a big rock to the windshield, crack.
Oh,
And I'm like, seriously, like, oh my gosh, you know, and like, you're just like, oh my goodness. And so that's what I was thinking about, because it just happened the other day when I was driving to Calgary, and right away you're in that headspace and how you felt in that moment, how frustrated
yes.
you were and all that kind of stuff. And then when you said to go back into your body, I realized, or how to pay attention to kind of how that chair was feeling again. I was nowhere near that chair.
Yes, that's right. That's how far it sent you. Yes. And so it takes time, right, to come back down into the chair, but that's your body deactivating, it's called. So as it deactivates, it can, and really we do that a lot. We get so triggered so often that we tend to not deactivate enough.
Yeah.
And so then we stay in this heightened place almost all of the time. And so we need to train ourselves and to notice and to grow within ourselves. So then once that rock hit that windshield, we feel the pang, we feel the escalation, and then we feel ourselves pulling over and the stillness that happens and feeling our chair again, right? But it can happen spontaneously so that we're not sent off reeling around the thing that happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can also see how being in that state can then also have a ripple effect of what state you choose to operate in.
Yes.
Can affect, because if you can't get back into a calm place, then it's the next thing that happens, and the next thing that happens, and the next thing that happens, and the next thing that happens, that sets you off. That's trigger after trigger after trigger, as opposed to learning the skills to get you back into a state where you have some peace and serenity and can operate with a full everything to make conscious decisions and not fly off the handle, and powerful.
Well, and I've been tested recently because as we're transitioning and moving, we went to one rental, and after 4 days of moving in, there was a fire in our house. And so we had to, of course, our lives turned upside down, you know, have to cancel the rest of my day, go and clean up, get everything out, try to salvage things, you know, be okay with my kids. And so through all of that, I got to witness how resilient my nervous system was, how I've changed over the last 6 years that I've been doing this work. It's really blown me away because I was able to still stay present with my children. I was able to do what I needed to do and not feel completely overwhelmed by the task of trying to put our lives and house back together again. And knowing that, okay, I don't want that to keep happening. How can we prevent all of this from happening again? What can we do? How do we resettle again? But knowing that, oh my gosh, I could still handle all of that. That's blows me away.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, because that's the thing, is that we're on this journey called life. It's not always sunshine and roses and hunky-dory.
No.
We have to learn how to handle all these different things that happen in our lives, lots of them very unexpected, and you just don't see it coming. And how can you best take care of your own, you know, mental health, spiritual, physical,
Yes.
that stuff with the tools. Just like, you know, you go to the gym and build a muscle kind of idea, right? Where you're building muscles internally, and even though you can't physically see them, maybe knowing that they're there, and you've got those tools to be able to handle every situation. Just the day-to-day little things like a rock to your windshield, you know?
I know. And you know what's cool is even after this last exercise, you can notice for yourself and for those that have been listening, what is different now that you're beginning to notice the body when it gets triggered. What is different? And as you ask that question, that's how we keep evolving and learning.
Yeah. And one of the things for me that I noticed that was different is that when I did go back into my body, I had back pain. And that was like, I could feel my back aching at that point, as opposed to before that, you know, I was all relaxed and great. So knowing how that those emotional things can trigger physical things in our body, all connected. So yeah, I learned a lot today. I'm sure other people who are watching this, who did the exercise, learned, you know, a lot about their own responses and just how powerful it is that we can learn those tools. So if women want to learn more and want to enroll, let's talk about kind of when the workshop is starting, the group one, how people enroll, all that good stuff.
Perfect. So if you go to bodywiseinsights.com, you're on the landing page and you can sign up to the email list if you'd like. And then you have the two programs there. You have the online program or the mentorship program. You can click on what you're interested in, and it goes to a separate page for the online program where you can read about the program, the curriculum, the benefits, all the things that you get from it. And then you can't enroll at this time. You can sign up to the wait list. And then on September 20th, we open for enrollment again. We just finished the early bird promotion. And so now we've got the enrollment period that's opening on September 20th. And then the course itself starts on September 30th, which is a Monday, the last day of September. And that's where our 8 weeks begin. So October and November is when the group calls will be happening, and we'll be meeting up and taking questions and all of that. If people do have questions around the program, they can email at enroll@bodywiseinsights.com if they have any questions around the online program. And then the mentorship program, so if they go to bodywiseinsights.com, the mentorship program, you can click on that one. And again, you'll get taken to a page where you can learn all about it. You can actually book in to my schedule and schedule a 15 to 30-minute call with me where we can chat about the goals that you have and the struggles that you're going through to see if that's the right fit for you. We get to work with one another and see if the mentorship program is right for you and we're a good kind of match. So you can call, you can set up a call with me for that. And that's your options.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So starting right around the corner, and fall's a good time where people are back into kind of a routine and prioritizing themselves. Kids are back in school and what their goals are, and what's important to them. So I think that's wonderful. Good timing to be able to offer that. Is there anything that we missed chatting about today, Kristina, that you wanted to add?
Ooh, let's see. Just that I know that there are a lot of people out there struggling and suffering, and that I know that they also come up against this feeling of hopeless and helpless, that they feel like they're in this pit and that they can't get out. And I want people to know that we can get out. And the journey might be long, but even subtle things can change your life profoundly. And subtlety is where it's at. And that's what I want to offer to people. And to just begin their journey out of that hole that they're in.
Love it. That's so awesome. Well, thanks, Kristina, for sharing today what you do, what you're so passionate about, what you were literally called on this earth to do. You can definitely see it, how passionate you are, and the people that you work with, and all the women who will work with you in the future. I'm excited for their journeys as well. So thanks so much for sharing. And we'll include all the information as well so that people will be able to reach your website to sign up and to get connected with you. So I'm going to wish you a fabulous day, and for everybody who's watching today. And be sure to check out Kristina and Bodywise Insights and all this great stuff that she's doing.